I would have liked, and what I was really hoping, is that Lois was going to say that she loved him. And that would have been something different. It was just pretty, like, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. The whole episode I thought was good. Like, I feel that the writers and the producers, everything, they accomplished what they set out to accomplish in this episode. Like, everything they did, I felt like they were doing what they were wanting. I just wish that the show had gone in a different direction. What happened was fine for what it was, but first of all, just the one thing about Lois saying that she loves him. But then Clark's vision and the whole Jarrell thing was crazy, because at the end, Jarrell was a total jerk, and I'm not sure if that's really him or not, but he said he didn't bring Clark back, so that's kind of a mystery as to why Clark came back. Clark was really adamant about that. So then he goes to see Chloe, and then he runs into Lois at the Daily Planet. That was a scene that I thought was cute and it was funny, and I know a lot of Clark and Lois fans would be really excited because it was well done, the scene, except for I just didn't like the subtext of it. What I would have preferred is that when Clark was talking to Chloe at the watchtower, you know, she lied and said everybody was fine, and he talked about how he died. I wish that, yes, he was going to go follow up on Lex, and that was a priority, but somewhere in his mind, Lois actually occurred to him. Like, I would have liked the show to have played out that Clark thought, I've got to find Lois and keep her from leaving the country, since that's what he thought she was doing, leaving the continent. And so I wish he had actually sought her out. So instead of the scene at the Daily Planet, what I would have liked to have seen is Clark go to the Talon, Lois to be there, still the kind of scenario with her researching, like say he comes in, she's in her apartment and the floor is covered in newspaper articles about everything that she was researching about the blur. Then I think it would have been better, because we would have had the belief that Clark was interested in whether or not she left, instead of like how it came across when he showed up and accidentally saw her, was like, oh wow, dude, you're still here? I thought you were gone, which was so not the way to go with that. Thought it would have been better if he had sought her out, but then when he saw the articles, he was kind of put off by it. Then they could have had the same conversation, but we would have just had the intention that Clark was actually wanting to talk to her. As it stood, Clark came. Lois was really excited to see him, and everything she did in the scene was totally like 100% great for the fans. But from his perspective, he came in, he was just like, oh, you're still here. Then he was concerned about getting what he needed, which was totally his attitude in Hostage, like at the beginning of that show, right before she broke up with him. It's the same thing. It was like he wasn't concerned about whether she was there or not. He was too preoccupied. And then because she knew this time why he was preoccupied, she totally just smiled and took it in stride and was totally happy about the entire situation. Whereas from his perspective, it was kind of like, oh, okay, I gotta get what I need to get done, and then he was just gonna leave. So I'm glad that Lois said, hey, we need to talk, because as a viewer, I'm glad, even though from a perspective, like inside of the show, I think she should have just let him leave. Like, I don't, for Lois's sake, I thought that was really rude that he was just gonna come and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. So far he knows, he doesn't know if she's still planning to leave. Well, she said she had put her trip on hold. He never showed that he was excited that she was staying. He should have been the one that said, you know what, we really need to talk. I have a lot of stuff I have going on right now. But there was no initiative in the entire episode, or especially Clark's scenes, for him to talk to Lois to find out like the state of their relationship, or to show that he even cared one way or the other. Anyway, so that was disappointing, but typical Clark behavior. Such a dummy. But it was really funny that Lois was just like totally cool with everything. And really, Clark's saving grace is that he's the Blur. Like, the fact that she knows that. And the scene with Lex, I know I've gone on, and everyone knows that I love Michael Rosenbaum, and I totally would love to have him on the show, but I like the fact that Lex is a part of the show, that whether Michael's there or not, that he's important. I totally believed what he said. I thought it was great, like the writing, that he loved Clark. Clark drove him crazy by just playing mind games, which is what Clark did with everybody, Lana and Chloe and Lex and everybody that he knows. You know, the secrets and the lies. And I think it's really hard when you come from a place where you're broken and sad, like you're abused as a child, like Lex was. And it's so hard for you to trust somebody. And then when you love someone, which I totally believe that Lex loved him like a brother, Clark totally, he didn't trust him, and it's easy for people who are watching the show to say, well, Lex is going to be evil at some point, so he's right not to trust him. But from where the show came, it was like Clark was just a jerk, like a total jerk to him, and drove him crazy with his lack of trust and faith and being a good friend to him. I don't think Clark's ever really been a good friend to anybody but Chloe, basically. It's the only person he really seems to care about, that he expresses that he cares about. So I totally loved that dynamic with Lex and him going after Lois because of the Blur. And the Blur, of course, I went on, and I stand by my decision to love the Blur and hate on Clark. No, in the finale, I was like, the Blur, you know, when he calls her and everything he does is evident completely that he loves Lois and he would do anything for her. And, you know, when Lex says, you can save everybody or the woman you love, and he's like, where is she, you know, and he's really upset, and he immediately goes to, where's Lois? Like, it's so obvious, yet Clark, the man, not the superhero guy, he doesn't show that to Lois. It's like we see it, which is great as a fan, and we know it. We know that he loves her and everything, but I just think, well, does she know it? I mean, I guess she knows because she knows he's the Blur, so it's kind of that way. But as far as Clark, he's just got so far to go as far as, you know, I guess opening up and whatever. So nosy Lois goes to the barn. I mean, she's just going to talk to him, but she gets all nosy and is opening his presents. And that whack on the face is ridiculous. Oh my God. This lady would so have brain damage all the time she's been clonked over the head. But I like that she saw the real suits and the picture that they had. I totally don't get why that picture looks so fake. It looked like it was photoshopped, which I've seen other pictures of Tom Welling, and I guess, I don't know if it's just that he looks so flawless on pictures that he looks fake. Like, it did not look like a real person, but I know that's how he looks. The whole picture just was off because his face was just so, like, not human. Just in a good way. Sorry. So in conclusion, I just really want Clark to step up and be the man that he is when he's the Blur. And I'm really looking forward to Homecoming. So maybe I should stop reading spoilers so I won't be disappointed. Alright, thanks for listening, and let me know what you think. Bye!